What's going on, folks? This is my opinion of my as a lifelong wrestling fan, been fan since the 80s. This is my opinion on wrestling and the state it's in right now. As somebody who watched it in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, got out of it in like the 2010s. Right around 2013 was when I kind of like fell off from watching regularly, and around like 2015 I was done. I would only see things here and there. Got really back into it in 2023, and now this no shout out to my brother, because he been trying to get me back into it forever. He tried to figure out why I stopped watching in the first place, and some of the reasons I'm going to explain are why I stopped watching and what brought me back. And then the issue that I see now that I was able to catch back up on everything that I missed over the last like several years. But one thing that it has its place in wrestling. You know, the goofy stuff. The comedy, it makes sense, because sometimes you want to be entertained, and it is entertainment. You want to be entertained by it. So having comedy in wrestling, it makes sense. I get it. I love to laugh. One thing that always bothered me about wrestling was when they started doing like the supernatural stuff. That always bothered me. Even as a kid, watching Papa Shango put a curse on the Ultimate Warrior, watching the Bleak, it was compelling. I'm like, but they gonna fight though. That's all they kept on leading back. Like, they're supposed to have a fight, right? What this got to do with them fighting? And and just remember that build up. The build up was great. It's just when it came time for the match, like, they were hard to watch. But I tell you, so I get why things are there, and I get the theatrics of it and all that. I understand that it has its place. It's and even in the 90s, it started to go too far. It went off the rails in 2000. Where it is now, Lord knows where it is when it comes to those things. But seeing that, I thought it was goofy then, like The Undertaker having like supernatural powers and stuff. I thought throwing lightning bolts, Kane setting people on fire. I thought that was like, okay. I thought that stuff was a little bit goofy then too. Just because of the simple fact, like, all right, they're gonna have they're supposed to have a match fight, right? What does this have to do with that? Now, always wonder, like, what does that have to do with that? But as a kid watching, the characters that intrigue me, like Rock and Roll Express, love them. Ric Flair, love him. As I got older, Triple H, that's my guy. Like Randy Orton, things like that. You know, characters like that. People who you see like, oh man, they tell a compelling story with what they do. And it's a joy to watch when you see people who do it well. It's also easy to spot when people don't do it well, when you've been seeing people do it well for a long time. And one issue I have with the modern wrestling is the fact that everybody has to kick out of everything in every match. I'm like, in practically every match, you got multiple false finishes. Like, why is it needed? Like, seriously, they kick out of moves that should end the match. It's a high point in the match. Be done with it. Prime example, the Young Bucks. Any of their matches, you can just watch. Just pick one. There are gonna be at least 4 false finishes in the match. It's not necessary. It's not needed. And everything don't have to go 15 minutes or longer. And that's the AEW reference, where it's just false finishes all over the place. WWE has them too. They have their false finishes as well. I'm like, a false finish it serves a point, but when everyone does it, you've missed the point. You lose the point, and no one cares about the point. If you see somebody like, I don't know, John Cena, they kick out of an F5 by Brock Lesnar. All right, oh man, that's interesting because those people get that type of reaction. Those people garner that response. You expect them to give you a spectacle. You see somebody, I don't know, like a Danny Garcia and a Wheeler Yuta. You see them kicking out of moves, and like, why? Why? I mean, things like, why? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good visually as a wrestling fan. You see someone like, well, if people who are built like me and shaped like me can do this, and now I'm 5'8" and a half, 160. Okay, that's my build. That's a lot of those guys' build over there in AEW, and to see them kick out of pile drivers and fall off all this stuff and go through all the furniture and whatnot, it's ridiculous. I'm like, there's no way your body can handle this stuff. And it shouldn't. And you shouldn't do it. It's seeing everyone, seeing all the false finishes. I mean, WWE goes overboard too. I mean, the AJ Styles John Cena match, while it was fun to watch, it was ridiculous. I'm like, come on. It was I loved it, but it was ridiculous. They've been doing all these moves, kicking out everything. And you see the same thing. Everyone just kicking out of so many things. I'm like, all right, that's one big issue I have with modern wrestling, is that the false finishes, like, it's just too many, done by too many people that, quite frankly, aren't very significant when it comes to the bottom line of drawing ratings and viewers to the product. Just bottom line. Another issue I have with the modern wrestling is it's the furniture. When it's time to go through tables, okay, synonymous with the Dudley Boys. Devon, get the table. Okay, hey, love the Dudley Boys, love the Hardys, love Edge and Christian. Why does every alleged big match have to involve a table spot or a barricade spot? They all do. Someone's getting put through a table, someone's going through the barricade for some reason. It doesn't have to happen all the time. It's not needed all the time. Then it's matches where you go through like 8 or 9 tables. I'm like, what is this? Like, good Lord. And then at least tables and chairs and ladders, those things are useful. And I can see them being in a wrestling ring setup. I can definitely see them being used in a wrestling arena. A toolbox even. Okay, that's fine. I can use that as a weapon. Cool. The toolboxes are heavy and they can cause some damage. No problem there. A barbed wire baseball bat. Mick Foley did it first. Mick Foley did it best. Everyone else is just copying it and doing it poorly now. When you see women running out to the ring with barbed wire baseball bats, what is going on here? Why does she have a barbed wire baseball bat to hit someone in the stomach with? You hit him in the stomach and hit him in the back. It loses its appeal when everyone does it. So women coming out with barbed wire bats. And guys got barbed wire everything. Barbed wire chairs. Why? Why? Just why? Then we get to the ridiculous things. Not even just the furniture. You got a bed of nails. Who has that just laying around? What practical use are you gonna have for a bed of nails? Just glass for no reason. If you're in a fight, if you're in a fight, I can see you using glass. You know, you hit someone with a glass bottle in the face or whatever. I get that. But to have your hands wrapped in glue and have some glue or something on it, and then you stick your hand in there, and then you have glass on your hand like you are Tung Po from Kickboxer, and you're punching people with this. What are we doing? What are we doing here? And I like Toni Storm. I genuinely like Toni Storm. I think she's good. But really? And you see them using glass, mirrors, thumbtacks, staple guns, kendo sticks, garbage can lids, garbage cans, shopping carts, as New Jack would famously come out with. I thought he did too much with his stuff. I mean, he came out with the grocery cart full of the garbage. I'm like, good Lord, man, it ain't gonna no build to it. Nope, right to it. But that was New Jack. New Jack started off as a wrestler before he did all that stuff. He didn't just start doing the hardcore stuff. So again, New Jack could wrestle. He just opted not to as his career progressed. A lot of these guys don't even know the basics, and they just go right for the garbage, right for the furniture immediately. Why are people going through doors, home doors? I know because they're cheap and they're hollow, but people going through doors, glass panes, for what? For what? And a lot of the times those things are 2 counts. Someone just got dropped. Someone just did a Death Valley driver through like 8 tables and a pane of glass or something. 2 count. 2 count. And a lot of that stuff does happen at the indie shows, where it's like this is these death matches, just that and the third, all that nonsense. But a lot of that nonsense is making its way on to the mainstream because people think it's popular. No, it's ridiculous, and it shuns people away more than it actually attracts. I mean, who doesn't want to see a car crash every now and then? But after a while, enough of the car crashes. After the furniture, another issue I have is the blood. While I do believe blood in wrestling is fine, I don't have any issue with people having a match, so when someone bleeds, as long as it makes sense. There have been matches where people have been bleeding that didn't call for blood. One of the worst offenders of this is Jon Moxley. We all know this. A famous clip on YouTube and the Instagram is when he was fighting Shibata. Shibata did a sling blade on Moxley. Next thing you know, Moxley's bleeding for no reason. He was bleeding off of a clothesline. He bleeding. And when so many people bleed in a match, it doesn't make sense either. like AEW just had their past Blood and Guts, where the women bled immediately. They bled more than the guys did. And after having watched it twice, their match definitely took away from the guys' match. Not to mention that I like those women more than I like the guys that were in the match, because who wants to see Wheeler Yuta in a match? I'm sorry, no. I don't want Danny Garcia. No, they are not the level that they should be at main events of anything. They're just not. And when you got just random people bleeding, I'm like, why is he having a blood feud? What does this have to do with anything? It's not like these guys no. Certain people, it just doesn't make sense. When I was watching the women's Blood and Guts match, I couldn't even pinpoint what was the cause of some of them to bleed. When the first lady got busted open, I'm like, I knew because Willow had threw her to the cage or whatever, so that was her moment to get her blood, get her color. Got it. Okay. I didn't see what led to Megan Bang getting her blood. I don't know why Marina Shafir was bleeding. I don't know why Willow was bleeding. I don't even know why Statlander was bleeding. I don't know. I don't know what action caused them to bleed. I don't know, because it was just so much chaos going on. Next thing you know, everyone's just bleeding. And then the guys, I mean, of course, you know, Moxley come in stabbing people with forks and whatnot, like he's Abdullah the Butcher, and not anywhere near as menacing. You got the Danny Garcia, Wheeler Yuta start bleeding immediately in the match too. I'm like, oh, why? Just what for? And the blood in wrestling it has to make sense. If it doesn't make any sense, then there's no point in doing it, and it cheapens it and it diminishes it. Especially when you see this guy get busted open on a Wednesday and they're on Saturday like nothing happened. They're not selling the effects of the nothing. No nothing. They just did it. Yep, we're cool and we're fine again. And so that's my issue with the blood in wrestling, when it's done excessively for no reason with people who don't really, add any interest to the program. That's my issue with the blood. Next, you have the high risk moves. Now, doing, moves on the top rope, fine. No, as long as you know how to do it, it looks fine. But when everyone gets on the top rope, they have to carefully position themselves. Like, hey, wait. Let's hold on for a second. Let's make sure we're nice and steady before we dive off this thing. When it looks so cooperative and so like this isn't a high risk, this isn't risky, we're working together here, it takes away from the experience of like, oh man, they're going to the top rope, what's gonna happen? No, it's like, okay, they're setting up this so someone can, okay, all right, we see what happens. And then the fact that I can't think of any match in recent memory that didn't involve multiple top rope spots. I just can't. I mean, everyone's doing something on the top rope. They got to dive out of the ring, dive over the ropes, dive off this, dive off that, jump off the cage, hit a backflip. Let's do a Mexican destroyer from the top rope. Let's do this crazy the flying whatchamacallit from the top of the cage. Let's do the Spanish fly from the top of the cage. And we wonder why Will Ospreay's broken up now. We wonder why he's all beat up now. Wonder why Kenny Omega's all broken up now. All those years doing all those dives over the rope, out the ring. Every time you just flying all over the place. And yes, you're going to crash and burn. I mean, how many concussions, how many broken arms? I mean, we saw, good Lord, I mean, just last year, saw what, Riho, she dove off the top rope on the outside, broke her arm. We got another female wrestler, she did something similar, got her arms in a sling now. We got so many knee injuries in WWE. Everyone's torn their meniscus and everything else. I mean, everyone's in knee braces because of all the high risk stuff, the dives, the falls. While they serve a point, I get it, and don't get me wrong, I like some of the high risk moves. Everyone doesn't have to do them, and everybody shouldn't aspire to do them either, because if you're uncomfortable up there, you probably shouldn't be up there doing a move. Just saying, and you can tell people who are uncomfortable up there because they look a little shaky. They're the ones who got like, okay, I got to make sure I'm exact. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do something else that looks better. Do something else that looks a whole lot better versus you going to the top rope or you diving out of the ring and it doesn't look as good and it just results in so many injuries. Now, that's why so many people are out. Can you imagine? Everyone's doing all these moves from the top, falling on each other. Yeah, people getting their necks jacked up, their shoulders messed up, their arms all. Yeah, you have a full human falling down on you. I don't care if that person weighs 150 pounds or 250 pounds. That's still somebody falling on you. Then you got the wrestling stars themselves. Nowadays, wrestlers, they don't have that mass appeal that it back in the day. I mean, they would draw all kinds of crowds. I mean, I remember going to a WWF event at the time, and I mean, they were at our local mall, man. That place was packed out. I mean, like, it was, you had to get there early in order to get in. Nowadays, not a lot of them garner that type of fanfare. You got, those that cross over the mainstream, like Roman Reigns. And I used to, when I would do some testing for certain things, certain software, I would submit it under the name of Roman Reigns, just to see like who would, see like you can find anybody who knows wrestling or anything associated like that. Plus, easy to point out, easy to filter out, and all that jazz. But I would always get back, I acknowledge the tribal chief, or if I put like a different name like John Cena or something like you, I saw it, but I can't see it. Things like that. So, okay, these ones are popular. Then I would mix in wrestlers like, I'll throw in a name like a Kenny Omega or just a random name like Darby Allin. I didn't, nothing. I got nothing. I mean, I knew the AEW crowd wasn't the AEW wrestlers. They weren't as big as WWE wrestlers. One, they don't got the platform, but two, again, wrestling is not as big anymore. And I remember some AEW wrestlers at a baseball game, soccer game. It was some event that I'm pretty sure the owner's son owned to, and they was like, yeah, the AEW performers. It was like, who? But they don't garner that type of magnitude, that they used to back in the day. Oh, it's only one for me that does that still, and that's Roman. And that's only because I got back into it because of watching the Bloodline stuff. That what got me back into it. And really what happened was WrestleMania 39 is when I got back into it, and I just rehashed everything since. But he's the only one that garners that type of like, oh, this dude's larger than life deal, like all the other wrestlers used to back in the day. He's the only one that still garners that. Him, John Cena. I mean, just because I'm a fan, AJ Styles does that for me. Who else though? CM Punk, I give him that. Drew McIntyre, because I just love Drew. Rhea Ripley, I can say she has that effect. She has that mega star effect. Bianca Belair has that mega star effect. they're trying to do that with Jade, I see, but that time will tell on that one. But even with them being that as big as they are, they're still not as big as they were back in the day. So that's my overall feel of what's wrong with modern day wrestling. This has been my long diatribe. So if you got anything to add to it, put in the comments. Peace.